You know the vibes. Welcome back to another
Oh,
episode of the Hoop Genius podcast brought to you by NBA 2K25. BJ, you sound surprised.
well, I haven't heard that type of energy in quite some time. I love it. I
You
love
know,
it.
the sun is shining, and today is the first day in many months I don't have to wear a big puffer jacket to be outside. It's getting a little
Beautiful.
warmer. It's getting nicer out here. So, I'm in a good mood. How are you, BJ?
Okay. Only terrific, Mo. Only terrific. I have to be terrific. I don't have another choice.
Well, it's a terrific day for Wick Grousbeck and the owners of the Boston Celtics, as they just sold the franchise for $6.1 billion, the highest price ever paid for a US sports team. And Bill Chisholm, I don't know how to pronounce it. Please forgive me, sir, has bought the team. He's the owner of what's the company called? STG Partners, a private equity firm. His group is working with Goldman Sachs. And as a lifelong Massachusetts native and lifelong Celtics fan, he is ecstatic at the sale of this team.
Wow.
BJ, the Celtics are in an interesting position because they have a very deep roster, or, their starting five might be the best starting five in the NBA. They're the reigning champs. But that luxury tax bill is starting to pile up. And with the repeater tax, so if a team is over the salary cap, they pay what's called the luxury tax. And for every dollar you're over the luxury tax, you pay X amount. But if you're over the luxury tax year after year, the tax goes up exponentially. So keeping this group together for the long term is going to be very difficult. In fact, one thing I think people don't realize is the Celtics may have to make some cost-cutting moves this summer. They've kept the group together to try go back to back this year. But when the summertime comes around, that luxury tax bill for next year is looking like billions of dollars. They may be forced to make some moves and break up this team. Do you have any anticipation on the direction in which this will go? Because a new ownership, you don't know what direction they're going to go in. We saw Matt Ishbia buy the Phoenix Suns and try and go all in and spend all his money in draft picks. Or other owners may be more conservative and look at this more like a business and try and make profit out of it. Do you have any anticipation on the sale of the Celtics and what the future has in store for the most successful team in NBA history?
Most successful team. I love how you,
Those 18 banners speak for themselves.
Mo, that's pretty funny. Um, when these owners or these new investment groups come into the NBA, there's always a learning curve that happens. The Celtics right now are presently set up to sell. And I would venture to say that the players and the roster is just currently constructed. They've done a really good job of evaluating their players, and the salaries will match their production. That's the key. They have max players. Well, you should expect to get with max players at the very least to the conference finals when you have one or more. Check. You have players like Al Horford's production at his age, and he produces to where a player where he's financially at should produce under pressure. Check. You have Drew Holiday. You have what's the other kid there? The
Derek White.
Derek White. You have players. You have elite guards who that if you were to put on the market and suddenly they became available, I don't think there would be. I think there would be a lot of takers. I don't think there would be any
And
problems for them to move. Check, check. Then you have Porzingis, who, even though he's had some health concerns throughout his career, I still think that's a movable contract. So check. So people say when you have a high salary team or a team that's in the luxury tax, but you have players that are evaluated and they're producing as such, there will never be a problem for you to move them when Father Time steps in to the picture. The only reason this team won't stay together is because they'll begin to show a little, they'll get a little long in the tooth. And there will be no problem to retool this quickly because of the age of their two stars, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
27 and
So,
28.
yes, 28, but he's still in his prime. I mean, these guys are 28 years old.
Yeah, the prime's just
Okay,
beginning.
exactly. So I am not concerned about any of that. What I am concerned about is what's the learning curve of the new ownership? Because when they come in, what's the very first thing they all say when they come in?
They want to win.
And they want to win now. Well, this isn't like a traditional business because you're managing, you have to partner with people. And that is the most difficult thing to do. And that's why when you have however you are successful in your business and your, whether it's product, private equity, and all of those things, now you have people involved and you're partnering with someone. And for many, that's an adjustment. As long as they listen to their current management group that's currently in place, they'll be fine. Okay. The word silent and the word listen, they have the same letters. Okay. You can take it from there. This is free advice, but it just is what it is. You do not come into this business with just money and suddenly you know everything. No. Listen, absorb information, hire competent people who will help you understand what I just said. You have to manage people. You're putting together a team. Stats doesn't mean it's a team. Guy averages 25, he's going to come here, he's going to average 25. Well, no, it doesn't work that way. You're dealing with groups, personalities, coaches, what's the age, so forth and so on. Injuries happen. So listen, you have very competent people there in your executive team. Brad Stevens and these guys, they've done it. If you listen to these guys, you'll be fine. You'll have at a minimum another 5 to 7 year run with this group because you have two players.
Tatum Brown, Derek White, and Sam Hauser are under contract until 2029.
But that doesn't mean, but you can't, Mo, don't fall. You're going to be an executive.
No. I'm just letting the listeners know what the current situation is.
Don't fall into that, the contract. You have players who are currently playing at their evaluation.
Yeah.
You only make a mistake in this league is when players are being paid and aren't producing at the number that they're currently working at. Mm-hmm. That's the issue. Mm-hmm. If Jason Tatum became available, that's no problem. Jaylen Brown, no problem. Derek White, no problem. If they suddenly have a decrease in production, now you got a problem. Now you have a problem. So right now they are fine. But what's going to happen is at some point, Father Time is going to come in like Father Time always does. Father Time is undefeated. And their players are going to have to make moves. That's part of the business. No one's arguing that. Everyone understands this. That's why you must abide by one of many of the principled rules. You can't fall in love with the player. You can't fall in love with the player. The reason being is because your job demands that you constantly have to improve and the game may shift. What does that mean? The game may shift. No one knew 15 years ago that the game was suddenly going to shift to small ball. But when it did shift, the Warriors were posed better than anyone else to take advantage of that. Then everyone else caught on to it, and then they caught up with the Warriors. And you can argue a lot of teams passed the Warriors. There's always going to be shift. There's going to be a shift. Pace and space came into the game. You had to shift. Now that took out the big guy. And then all of a sudden, Jokic comes in the league, and now you can see the shift changing back, where every team now is trying to have a big guy and playing big, a la the OKC Thunder, and play with tall players. So you see these shifts, you have to be able to change. That's why your Celtics went out and got Porzingis, because they can play big if need be, and they can play small if need be. You hear me say these things, but I know you make fun of me. You have to be able to play a blended brand of basketball if you're
There
going
it
to win a
is.
championship.
There it is.
Yeah. But I mean, you make fun of me. But Mo, Brad Stevens and these guys, and he understands this. This isn't like rocket science. This is just, are you watching the game or are you watching the stat sheet? Watch the game. You have to be able to play when the big guys come in to your building, and you have to be able to play when the guys go small. Al Horford, he can do both. And you have to be able to position your team when you have great players like you guys do there in Boston. My Detroit Pistons are, we're catching up. Okay, we have a team now that can play in multiple ways. You like how I segued, you like the segue, how I segued that in there.
I like that. You're
You
learning.
like that.
You're learning. You're 600
Yeah,
episodes
yeah.
in, but you're learning.
Yeah, I'm learning. I'm learning. And but I gotta give your Celtics credit. Your Celtics and their front office, they get an A plus. They get an A plus. When you see it, you don't see it because everyone's like, oh, well, this is why we're winning. No, you're winning because your front office has done an incredible job of positioning this organization, and they deserve a credit for the sale. If that is true, for what'd you say, $6 billion?
6.1. Some people say 6.5, somewhere over the 6 billion mark.
Hey, the rest of the owners are all applauding. It's good to be in the NBA if that is true. So let that be a lesson of what this business is all about. And then you'll take another team, for instance. Let's just take a team, the Philadelphia 76ers. That is a tough position to be in because they are the opposite of what the Celtics have accomplished. So, that's our little basketball, of what this
Business of
business is all
basketball.
about. Yeah, this is what
So,
this is what it is.
as you so eloquently segued to your Detroit Pistons,
Yes.
they picked up a nice win in Miami. Cade Cunningham hitting a game-winning three. I have a question for you about Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham now has 13 games in his career where he's attempted over 20 shots but had 0 free throws. For context, Luka and Harden only have one game like that. Shea has never had a game like that. Michael Jordan only had 14 in his entire career. Is Cade not getting to the free throw line because of his style of play, or because he's not yet getting the quote unquote superstar calls that other star players in the NBA get? When you watch Cade, is this an issue that springs to mind?
Remember, when you see these young players, Mo, remember they're constantly evolving. We're watching a star player evolve right in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What we like to do is tell people after the fact.
Yeah.
No.
By the way, if you guys didn't see the game, he had 25 points, 11 assists, 12 rebounds, and
This kid, Cade, is literally like, he's just blossoming right in front of us. Remember, Mo, we are learning his brand of basketball. He's not an elite athlete in the sense that he runs and jump like Anthony Edwards, or Saw Thompson, or Anthony Edwards, or Amen Thompson, or these guys. He has his own pace. He's smooth. He's a smooth operator. He's smooth. He hits you, and then every now and then he will surprise you with his athleticism. But for the most part, he's playing at a rhythm. I think the officials are getting used to his style, and I expect him to add getting to the free throw line next year. Great players, they add every year to their game. He now, as he's playing at an elite level. I think I said it last week. I said, hey, I think the guy's playing like a top 10, top 15 player. Mm-hmm. Well, now he's playing like a superstar. I happened to be watching that game last night. He was hands down the best player on the floor. Mm-hmm. It wasn't. He's playing as if every single night I'm the best player on the floor. Now his confidence is through the roof. As I said it last week, and everyone knows I'm a Detroit Pistons fan. But now our young player, Cade Cunningham, is playing like a star. He's playing like a star. Now he's like, hey, I'm the best player on the floor. And he loves it. And he makes big plays and he takes big shots. And you know what I love about it? The vets are encouraging him to be the best player. And then they play around him and off of him. Big Dern is just doing Big Dern things now. Now they got a big and a guard, and they got the guard situation stabilized. They got a big guy who dunks everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're filling in around it with everyone else. And those veterans, I give those guys credit. Tobias Harris, Beasley, and Tim Hardaway Jr.
And Schroeder.
Schroeder and these guys, because they got Schroeder doing the, trade deadline this year. I'm going to say this. When I see veterans who are professionals, I just always get excited because that's the core of any team, your vets. They have 3 vets in particular have been there all year, but Schroeder comes in and who is a terrific vet. And suddenly now when you mix that in with the young talent, and this is what you get. So let's give Trajan Langdon and those guys credit. Now, don't forget now, that's Troy Weaver. Troy Weaver drafted all those guys there. Who's no longer with the organization. But give those vets credit because this is what happens when your young player who you draft, like a Cade Cunningham, like a Jalen.
And he's got healthy. You know what I mean? That was the issue before. Then they couldn't find a rhythm if your star point guard is not healthy.
Well, health is always there, but he is playing now at an elite level. Now, the Pistons now are in position now to do what your Celtics have done. Okay, we have a guy now. I'm expecting to get out of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm expecting now, Mo, to get out of the first round with this group. The reason being, Mo, is they're consistently going now. They're doing things on the road, and they are playing with purpose. I can't say anything else more about them other than let's get to the playoffs. Because, Mo, if they're healthy, and Jaden Ivey,
still not there.
I love where we're at right now. Now, with that, we're going to find out what is going to be the key move to get us out of the middle of the pack to the top of the pack. That is our moment of truth. This is a feel-good moment right now. We went out of literally
the worst team in the NBA
to suddenly we're in the middle in the pack of the NBA, and we're all like, look at us. But the hardest thing to do in this league is to get to where the Celtics are at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is where the skill of your executives are going to come into play.
The Pistons are trending upwards, but they took that win over Miami last night, and the Miami Heat are trending downwards, currently on a 9-game losing streak, the worst losing streak since Eric Spoelstra became Miami's head coach. They're 4-16 since trading Jimmy Butler. Things are not going very well down in Miami, and Jeff Teague, who has a pretty popular podcast these days, he said they got to get rid of Pat Riley. It's time for the Heat to blow up. It's time for the whole organization to start over. Let Pat Riley just go ahead and retire, sit down somewhere, U88, let's just start it over. Let Eric Spoelstra run the team from the top to the bottom, be the coach and the GM, just start over. I wanted to get your thoughts on that because, as we say frequently on the show, Pat Riley is one of the best executives in all of sports. Or over the last few years, it hasn't quite felt that way. Respectfully to the great Pat Riley. Do you think it's time for a change in the front office in Miami? Or what do you see as the cure for their troubles?
Well, I want to be very clear with first of all, my respect for Pat Riley.
For real.
Pat Riley, and I'll say this, he's like my favorite. If there is a mentor in this league that I admire and that I can admire him and his professional accomplishments, and I can call him a friend, the advice and the wealth of knowledge that this young man,
Young man,
this man,
Pat Riley's 88 years old.
You know, I remember when I first saw Coach Riley. I just had a flashback. I remember him as a young coach for the Lakers, and this guy had his hair slicked back,
the Italian suits,
and to see him now and what he's accomplished in his career as a player, former player, as a coach, and as an executive, it's unmatched. This man literally, Mo, I would love to have him on the show because of the knowledge. Just think, Mo, all the players he's seen in his lifetime and played against.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this guy played against Wilt Chamberlain. I think he might have played with Wilt. He coaches Kareem. He's seen Jordan. He's seen them all. Dr. J. He's Larry Bird. He's seen them all. To think that we would suddenly just dismiss. He's one of the pillars of the game. He's done arguably more for the game than just about anyone. The game demands that we take care of our own people who've done something for the game. So all of a sudden now, he just forgot how to be an executive? He just forgot how to be, the coach? Look what he did. He put Eric Spoelstra there. Where did Eric Spoelstra learn what Eric Spoelstra learns? So let's get rid of the guy. Let's get rid of Yoda because Yoda doesn't know anything. Listen to what we're saying now. Pat Riley is one of the pillars in this business. And what he's done, Showtime, when he's there with the Knicks, what he's done with the Heat, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Now, I know we're in the age of entertainment, but let's pull the curtain back. Who has more knowledge than Pat Riley right now in the league? I got to listen to things, people talking about AI. Well, no, I can go to someone who's done it. Now we're having conferences to talk about the impact of AI and all these other things. And here's someone who's built it and done it.
There's no question as to just how great Pat Riley is. There was a report in 2023 that Pat Riley fell asleep during the trade deadline and he couldn't approve the trade that would have sent Kyle Lowry to the LA Clippers. There are some things, as you say, Father Time is undefeated. Pat Riley is 80 years old. It's not a question of his knowledge and what he can do. It's a question of being an executive is a very demanding job.
But listen what you said. There were reports. There's a lot of reports that come through. And I can verify there are a lot of reports that I know aren't true. And they're classified as sources say because they're on the internet.
This was in the Miami Herald.
Okay. That's right.
Kyle Lowry deal to the Los Angeles Clippers was never finalized. Riley was nowhere to be found because he was resting. Instead, the Clippers pivoted, trading Luke Kennard for Eric Gordon, followed up by sending Reggie Jackson to the Hornets in exchange for Mason Plumlee.
Whatever's going down there, I don't know. But what I do know is that I'm going to pay respect to the people that helped shape the game into where it's at. I'm going to pay my respect.
Absolutely.
I'm paying my respect. There aren't a lot of people that are walking around with his level of knowledge. Him, Hubie Brown, Brendan Surr, these people have true knowledge. I cherish knowledge. That's how you learn. You learn from people who've done what you would hope to accomplish. And if he did fall asleep, he deserves it. Because you know what? I'm not going to say what I'm thinking. No, these people aren't, at least he has an excuse if that report is true. Some of you young executives don't have an excuse. Okay? He's done it. So you know what? I'm going to protect people like Pat Riley because of what he's done for this game. And whether we know it or not, the podcast, all these things that we're doing here now is because of Pat Riley. He gave you Showtime and we didn't even know what it was. He gave you a brand of basketball that the world embraced. They call it pace and space. Well, we saw it in the 80s and we didn't even know what it was. We didn't call it pace and space. we called it Showtime because pace and space didn't win in this era. You know what did win? Showtime. They won 5 championships in the 80s. So I don't want to hear all this nonsense of what is being said. And this isn't against anybody other than I'm going to protect the game. I'm going to protect the people. All of us who've played, let's protect our game and protect the people who help build our game to where it's at. Okay. Now, whatever's going down there in Miami, give them the professional respect. They'll figure it out. When you say Heat's culture, think about that. Everyone just says Heat's culture, and we all know what that means.
Well, it's Pat Riley culture because their whole slogan was
Okay.
what he had when he interviewed for the Knicks job in the first place in the 90s.
So I'm going to respect what he's done. I'm going to respect what has happened here. However, I think the Heat would be the very first because they abide by the principle. There's winning and then there's misery.
Facts.
Okay.
Facts. Right now they're
Okay.
miserable though.
Okay. Right now
they are
they're
very
miserable.
down
But
in.
you know what? But you know what's great about them? I haven't heard them say, "Hey, we're tanking to get a draft pick." I haven't heard them running from the fire. They're running to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So because we expect excellence, we saw Pat Riley just a couple years ago take guys who were non-drafted and get to the NBA Finals. What, he just forgot all of a sudden? What Eric Spoelstra just forgotten how to coach all of a sudden? So I'm going to protect this group because, Mo, if there's anything, he has laid the foundation for everyone else to follow. If you want to be an executive in this league and you're not studying Pat Riley, don't tell me you want to be an executive in this league. Because Pat Riley didn't lay it down and try to tank. Mm-hmm. Pat Riley has always tried to win. Pat Riley has dedicated his life. I don't want to hear about how good you are. He's dedicated his life to the game. Protect that man at all price. And what he's done for the game and what he means to this game. Every executive should bow down to Pat Riley. Okay, he's getting older. Okay, that's fair. That's fair criticism. He's getting older. That's fair. But look at his record. Look what he's done for the game. We're sitting here, Mo, because of people like Pat Riley. He ushered in the entertainment aspect of the game. Here we are. This is a form of entertainment. Pat Riley did it. So now all of a sudden, well, let's kick him. No. This is one of us. This is one of us. You know, when young Buck, y'all call him Magic Johnson, was coming down doing his thing, passing it to Byron Scott, James Worthy. That's Pat Riley. I played against those Knicks teams when he ushered in, hey, you know, Lonzo Mourning, Shaq, Dwayne Wade. He brought Jimmy Butler there. He did something, right? He brought him there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got LeBron and Bosh.
You can only criticize him if you have a career like him. No one can. How many people can actually get up here and criticize him? He is the elite of the elite. Okay, he was an elite coach, one of the greatest coaches of all time. Red Auerbach included. Pat Riley is up there on Mount Rushmore. As an executive, he's up there with the greatest of all time. I'm not going to allow people to take shots at the greats. Fair criticism. We don't agree with his latest decision. Name me an executive who hasn't had a decision where you say, well, maybe I didn't get that one right. You haven't been an executive. I tell you this, and I joke with you all the time. You haven't drafted unless you've gotten it wrong. Fair criticism, this trait. But Pat Riley's career and what he's done for the game, hold on. We're all benefiting from that.
Who is on your Mount Rushmore of executives? You got 4 spots.
You got to go through the eras now. Remember, in the early parts of the NBA, it was a different time. different world. Let's be honest.
I mean,
Yeah,
Pat
let's be
Riley, Red
honest.
Auerbach, they got to be there.
You can have, but it's a different time. Okay, those were different times. All right, they had different things they had to address. So I'm not going to apply what it's like to draft now to what it was like to draft then because of the social climate that was going on in the world.
Valid.
Okay, let's. I'm old enough to understand. I'm not. I was pre-internet. Okay, I lived it. I'm going to give Red Auerbach credit for what he was able to do and what he was able to bring. And you have to give him credit, right? You got to give Pat Riley credit for what he was able to do. You have to give Jerry West credit. Okay? You have to give these people credit for what they were able to accomplish. But there were others. That's a tough. I don't know, Mo, because of the. Remember, they didn't have the tools and the resources that you have today. I appreciate what those executives had to go through in the 60s and the 70s. It was a different climate. It was different, Mo. The players, what they had to go through. Yeah, that's why when you start saying who's the GOAT, well, Mo, like they had to go through things we can't imagine. Not on the court, talking about off the court.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always respectful to the game. And I think it's valid for us to we have to appreciate the eras and the things that you're going on in the world. So is there a Mount Rushmore? Mo, I don't know if there's a Mount Rushmore. And the reason being is because, Mo, I always try to capture the moment, right? Remember, Mo, imagine you and I being in the league as an executive, and all of a sudden there's a merger that happened between the ABA and the NBA. And suddenly you had an expansion and all those things. So, Mo, these are things that I think about that I know aren't popular, but I know this is what happened. So imagine all of a sudden the league merges and suddenly Dr. J and all of these guys come into the league and you're like, wait a minute. And they're going to change the game suddenly. And now all of a sudden the game looks different. You had to draft at one point, Mo. You had to draft in your territory. So you benefited from a player that was your team West. So I don't know if there's really a Mount Rushmore, but what I do know, Mo, is that in the modern era, Pat Riley deserves our respect. He deserves our respect. And just like I respect every player, not some, every player that has an opportunity to play in the NBA, because, Mo, there's only 5,000 or 6,000 people in the world that can claim that they played in the NBA. I respect that. Like, some of them are better than others, but any player that has an opportunity to play, and we have to respect our game and respect the people that, and I can say this because I know Pat Riley. Pat Riley respects and loves this game, and he's dedicated his life to it. And that's an honorable thing. If you ever meet one person, let alone, I've been fortunate enough, I've met a number of people who've dedicated their life to this. This isn't just a job for them. He dedicated his entire life. We have to respect that. And when you see somebody in whatever field, honor that, because you're not going to see it often. You're not going to see that often. So, hey, whatever's going on down there, whenever I see him, wherever I see him, I pay respect. When I see Hubie Brown, I pay respect. When I see Spencer Haywood and if Kareem Abdul-Jabbar walked in my office right now, I would say, Mo, hold on, let me pay the proper respect.
That's a fact.
when you see these people, Earl Monroe, and pay them respect, because those people, we are all benefiting from that. We all benefited from what they went through. Some of the stories they told me they had to do in the 60s, I question. I don't know if I could have gone through it. Okay?
Yeah.
So pay the respect to the people. Bob Cousy, pay your respect every single time. Rest in peace. When I saw Mr. Russell, I don't care what I was doing. I might have been in a conversation with anybody, and if Bill Russell walked by in the lobby, let me just go out of my way to pay him that level of respect, because I value what these people have done in your public life. Hey, criticism is fair, but when you see that, okay, right there, Mo, I wish I could turn the camera. There is a jersey with number 6, Boston Celtics, Bill Russell signed right there. Right there. I'll bring it over here because
you can store that in my house if you want, BJ. That's cool.
Yes,
That's cool.
I'm paying him that level of respect.
Yeah, that's for real.
And another jersey behind that is a Philly jersey, number 13. Wilt Chamberlain. I'm paying those people the respect because, Mo, I owe the game that. I owe you this. I owe our audience this. And I hope everyone understands this man, Pat Riley, is a living legend. A legend. The game looks the way it looks today because of him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a fact.
That's facts.
So that's a fact. Okay, Showtime and entertainment, and he, along with those players, and the slick hair, fashion. Pat Riley was doing it in the 80s. We didn't even know what he was doing. He's like, man, what's wrong with this dude, man? This dude got his hair slicked back, fancy suits. Now everyone walks in. Look at this drip. Everyone now does this. Pat Riley was doing this in the 80s. Okay. Let's pay him the respect. We are building something together. We can't tear down this level of excellence. We're all benefiting from the people before us. We all are. We all are benefiting. Respect the game. Because we're in the media. Okay, let's criticize this. Let's dissect it. Well, Jimmy, whatever happened, happened. I don't know really what happened. All I know is this. Jimmy couldn't play down there for whatever the reason. He's playing out there.
Yep. These things happen.
These things happen. Hey, Mo, has anyone ever said Jimmy couldn't play? I've never heard the Miami Heat said he couldn't play.
Nope.
Whatever happened, happened.
It is what it is.
And it is what it is. And hey, have we ever said Jimmy Butler couldn't play here?
No one. No one ever has said that. No, it was more of a personal issue. I don't know what really went on. Maybe we'll never know. But, I think we also got to show our respects to you. Appreciate you as always, B.
Oh, man, I appreciate you guys.
I feel like that's a good place to drop the mic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's
respect
appreciate
the OGs.
And ladies and gentlemen, this young man here, Mo, has dedicated his life to the game. He's dedicated the things that Mo sacrifices health. The guy never sleeps. He's watching the game. He's learning about the game, and he wants to learn about the game, and he's terrific at what he does. That's got to be respected. And I'm not just saying it because he's here, but I watch him do it. He stays up literally 24 hours a day watching the NBA game. And I have no idea. I'm like, man, go to bed. Like, I tell him all the time, go to sleep. And he's like, oh, man, did you watch the game? I'm like, when does this guy ever sleep? So are we fair to the criticism? Yes. I'm all about that. But not to one of
all-time greats.
No, not. Hey, show me a resume that's better. Show me a resume that's better. And He, and if you ever get a chance to see him, because he'll talk to you. He doesn't walk by. You know, if you talk to Mr. Riley, I tell you this, I think on the air, I think I've told you it off the air. One of my favorite things in all of my career as an executive is every year doing the pre-draft camp.
Yep.
I would run into Coach Riley and we would ride the bike for like hours. And he would just be dropping gems. And every year I go down there just hoping that I run into him. And for whatever reason, it always happens. And he will sit there and talk and just drop gems. One of my favorite memories of my career post playing. That every year I would run into Pat Riley year after year, and we would be on our elliptical or whatever, and we're just talking basketball. And an hour, 60, 90 minutes would go by, and you'd be like, man, do you have to go, coach? And I was like, well, he's a little older than me. He probably should go. But I loved it. I loved it. And he always called me young man. And I got so many Pat Riley stories because I respect any player that I had and I represented. I would ask him if I could attend the meeting because he was just dropping gems.
Mm.
And one day I'll share some of those stories of how he's the greatest. So just all the players, if you see him, man, go get some knowledge while he's here with us. Get some wisdom. And Coach Sir, who you know I love Coach Sir. And I was fortunate to when I played against him and his teams, when him and Chuck Daly were together, he'll tell you that Pat Riley was one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Mm-hmm.
He'll tell you that. And if you meet anybody in this game that says otherwise, you say, well, they don't know the game. They're not a fan of the game. They don't know the game. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time, regardless, college, pro, European, wherever, of all time. So that means he's one of the greatest teachers of all time. And I hold teachers and most someday, if you ever have kids, you will value the people that have given and shared knowledge with your kids. That's a teacher. I value teachers. So, Coach, we love you. We love all the people who love the game. And we have people who love the game. He's one of them. So thank you. Now let's move on, Mo. Let's get back to this.
Thank you, BJ. Thank you. You know, make sure you guys listen to this, show BJ some love. He'll never see it because he doesn't use social media, but I'll screenshot it and send it to him. But BJ, we appreciate you as a teacher of this game, coming on here every day and, you know, dropping knowledge. We appreciate you taking the time to do it. And if you do appreciate BJ and this show, make sure you subscribe, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast from. And like you said, man, respect to everyone who loves the game. That's the number one thing. Respect the game. Don't try to cheat the game. Ain't no shortcuts in this game.
No. Hey. Don't cheat it.
Facts.
Criticize it. Hey, that's how we get better.
Ever disrespect the game.
But we can't disrespect it. We can't cheat it. Touch the line.
Mm-hmm.
Touch the line on the drill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Criticism, I'm fair with that. I'm fair with that one. But don't cheat it.
Man,
all right, Mo.
that's a funny one. I'll tell you this real quick because you talk about the kids you coach. Some of the kids I coached the other week, I had them running suicides. Most of them didn't even want to touch the line. So I stopped them. I made them start again. I said, you got to touch the line. If you don't, you'll see what happens. So they will touch the line. There's one kid, he ain't touching the line. I said, all right, cool. You got to lay down on the line every time you get there. You know, we ain't running suicides, we're running homicides now. The kid goes, oh, that's easy. Everyone just looked at him. I said, go ahead. You should have seen the way he was struggling after the first two. I said, brother, come on, man. Don't cheat the game. Don't
You
cheat the
can't.
game.
No,
Touch the line every
he's
time.
touch the line. There you go.
That's facts. All right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow with more from the Hoop Genius podcast. BJ, appreciate you. Subscribe to the show. And until next time, get buckets.